This is a global recorded prepaid call from
Max Roski,
an inmate at Douglas County Jail.
My name is Holly Dixon, and this is my co-host,
Kimball Burau, and you're listening to
Serial. Today we will be sharing with you the story of the kidnapping of Calvin Burau on December 5th, 2003, the last day Calvin was ever seen. For the last 2 years, my co-host and I have been relentlessly working to uncover what happened to the young high school boy and what happened 10 minutes after students were released.
Neither Holly and I are detectives or crime solvers, so I'm not sure how qualified we are to talk about this, but we hope you will listen and take our podcast with a grain of salt.
Every day for 2 years, we have tried to figure out the person who had kidnapped Calvin Burau.
So let's start from the beginning. Calvin had just gotten out of class. He did not have a sixth period, so we got out at 1:28 p.m. Those next 58 minutes is where things get a little fuzzy. What happened in those 58 minutes? Where was Calvin? Was he with anyone? If so, who? This made the crime even more difficult to comprehend.
The last person to see Calvin was a young man named Keller Gilmore. He was with Calvin at around 2:12 p.m., so we start to wonder what was Calvin doing in between the time of hanging out with Keller and when he was discovered missing at 2:40 p.m. We decided to call Keller Gilmore and ask him ourselves.
Hello? Keller, are you there?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to talk to you about when you saw Calvin and what happened before he left.
Yeah, we were hanging out with the boys' bathroom just before school got out. I remember because Calvin slipped on the toilet water and fell on the floor.
I see. So, before he left, was he acting weird? Did anything seem out of the ordinary?
No, he seemed like the regular Calvin. I didn't notice anything weird at all.
Okay, well, thank you for speaking with me. If you remember anything later, just call.
Okay, will do. Thanks.
Unfortunately, Keller couldn't remember much about the event, so we had to go back and retrace the evidence we already had.
Throughout looking at the evidence, we discovered that Calvin was returning to the school to talk to his English teacher, Miss Burau. He was there because he had a missing assignment that he wanted to talk to her about. The assignment in question is an essay about a book they were reading called The Glass Castle.
When we looked at his gradebook, though, we discovered that the assignment was in fact not missing and had been graded almost a day before. So what does this mean? Did Miss Burau kidnap Calvin? Or is this all a miscommunicated mistake? To answer these questions, we needed to get in contact with Miss Burau.
Yes, he did come talk to me after school.
So he was missing the assignment?
No, he actually wasn't missing it at all. I just hadn't put the assignment in the gradebook yet, so it was all just a miscommunication.
Okay, I see. Then around what time would you say he left?
Oh, I'm not sure. It was so long ago. I can't remember that far back.
Just estimate.
I would say around 2:35, but again, that was so long ago. I can't be sure.
We still weren't sure what happened between 2:35 when Calvin left Miss Burau's room and 2:40 when he was reported missing. To figure this out, we needed to get in touch with the person convicted of this crime, Max Roski. Unfortunately, that was a little harder than we thought.
Back in 2005, Max Roski was convicted of kidnapping in the first degree. He is being held in Douglas County Jail on a life sentence without the chance of parole. In order to get in contact with him, he had to call us, but at first he wasn't willing.
We wrote him a letter asking him if he would feel comfortable doing an interview over the phone. We didn't receive a response until a month later. He said he wasn't comfortable with that and would think about it. So before we play the interview, let's explain to you the story of Max and why he was convicted of the crime.
Back in 2003, Max Roski was just 17 years old when he was put under fire by the media. He was convicted of the crime because he was also staying after school to talk to the teachers. Coincidentally, they were both there to talk to Miss Burau. Max was friends with Keller, which gave him a motive to kidnap Calvin. It was said that Max was jealous of how close Calvin and Keller had become. Max and Keller used to be best friends, but it now seemed like Calvin and Keller were best friends.
A few key pieces of evidence that indicted Max of the crime was the fingerprints found in his car. Calvin's fingerprints were found in the trunk of Max's vehicle. They were key in the investigation because they were only found in the trunk, which could mean Max tied and bound Calvin and threw him in the back. They also found restraints when they searched Max's house. There were no DNA evidence on the restraints, though, which begs the question, was Calvin ever restrained at all? So I want to start out by asking you, what was your relationship with Calvin?
Well, I was actually really good friends with Calvin. We would always hang out when he and Keller were together, so I guess you could say we were friends. Yeah, friends.
Okay, I see. So did you two ever hang out when Keller wasn't around?
No, not really. No.
So there was never any tension between the two of you because Keller was becoming better friends with Calvin and sort of leaving you in the dust?
That's completely untrue.
Oh, really? How so?
You got it all twisted. Keller still hung out with me all the time. I was never jealous of their friendship. I can't believe anyone ever believed that. It's all a lie just to make me seem guilty.
So you're not?
Of course not. I would never do anything like that, ever. Not even to my worst enemy.
Sometimes my partner and I wonder what happened to Calvin on that fateful day. Did Max really kidnap him out of jealousy?
Or was it possibly Keller Gilmore? Was Keller wanting to get back to his old friend Max? Was he getting tired of Calvin?
Unfortunately, many of these questions go left unanswered, maybe even forever.
Stay tuned for our next episode of
Serial.